Dude, like, local Fox, no Fox. No local local news.
In Val's defense, our local Fox is an owned and operated station. So you're going to be on Fox News.
Woo! Woo!
Hello, Ben. I'm just saying hi. And Earl, too. Right.
Oh, I like it.
The fact that we get one of the three is so funny.
Because otherwise they'll copyright the
Whatever works, works.
Yeah, actually. But that's like lo-fi girl.
Lo-fi girl's not.
Lo-fi girl is the.
That's so weird. This room is always a big hole.
I feel fine.
It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
That's what I get as contract.
Everyone feeling sufficiently relaxed from the music. Ah, I tried. Hello, yes. I think so. I think we're good. Thank you. I don't know. Hopefully a quorum. Wait, what? Let's get this fucking agenda up. This is all correct. Hope so.
Or
Can I be so honest with you? I won't. It's the kind of day I'd rather just go home, but we got shit to do, so.
yes, I would love a keyboard right about now.
Zach, if you're hearing all this banter and the recording, I'm very sorry.
Okay. This is better. It's okay.
Okay. Yes, a tiny chair. Oh, I can see why. Not so much the small tear in the pages. I find that hard to believe. I said if there's not a small tear in the pages somewhere, I'd find that hard to believe. Let's get some folks in from the waiting room. Is the president here? Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
You should start stuff off.
Yep.
Like your coat.
All of my prospective board members are here.
Hey, Vella, come here for just a second. Just to clarify, We're adding a new legislator midway through the meeting. They get speaking rights immediately following, right?
Yeah, once they become a legislator, they have the rights.
Okay, do I have to do a roll call and mark them as present? or-
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and that'll just happen after they're done?
Mhm.
Cool.
Are you being approved today?
Shit, I don't know.
Because if you are, I prefer you being approved in my bill to just both be at the
Both
end
be at
so
the
that
end.
we could just do the chair stuff right there.
That hasn't been added yet. I think
I
that
don't
probably have to be a
think
motion
you're
for floor.
today. I thought that was.
Or
Marcus told me to add it to the agenda. I
wait,
haven't
we
yet.
do everything, we do my bill at the end, and then after that, you'll be the last item so that you can just the chair and I can be chair for the very last item.
Should I just put that on the agenda now or should it be moved from the
Your
floor?
approval?
Yeah.
Yeah, just put it there at the end.
Cool.
Make sure it's at the very end.
Very end, okay.
Hey, LJ,
Yes.
can you add Michael Wesley to the candidates for the election? For
Community support chair?
Yep.
Yes. Eight fucking items in new business today. Good evening, folks. The time's now 5:29. We'll get started in this meeting in just a few minutes. What's on here? Voice vote. Voice vote.
I need something to fund it, I really thought.
On maker. Rose. Bella. Since there are now two candidates for commuter support, we do that as secret ballot, right?
If that is directed toward me, the answer is yes.
Emily will not be here today, so I'm going to be reading off the text that she wants me to read.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. Colin, Autumn, welcome.
Their guidelines as to their opposites being a perspective going up with that.
Um. I'll read that.
Oh, yeah. Have more votes today. This. Let's see. Lance, well done. Looking pretty good for a quorum at this point.
Love when we meet quorum, it's so cool.
Just to clarify, Rose, I'm supposed to read Maggie as Margaret for purposes of this.
If you do, I'll go ask her. That's great.
So I can change it on the agenda too, if she'd prefer Maggie.
Oh, that's right.
Change it to Maggie.
On all of it?
Yep.
Roger. Ah. So many damn votes. No. Someday we won't even need to have votes anymore. If you look. Folks, we'll get started in just a couple more minutes. I've got a couple other things to take care of on this end.
I know.
It's age. No. All right, everyone, the time is now 5:37 p.m. I will call this general body meeting to order. Begin by calling the roll here. Legislators present, please answer when you're called upon. Speaker Fiat. Majority Leader Brummer. Steering Chair Valdez. Parliamentarian Vella. Excuse me. Judiciary Chair. Judiciary Chair Black.
Present.
Legislator Zwicky. Legislator Avazai. Legislator Lunger. Speaker, weren't you in contact with Legislator Lunger? Is she excused?
That is,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I did not. uh, Absent for the time.
Okay. Should have marked these folks absent too.
Screen share comments is excused.
Thank you. Legislator Markowitz.
Present.
Thank you. Legislator Martino. Legislator Mays. Legislator Mason.
Present.
Thank you. Legislator Obra. Legislator Rosario.
Present.
Legislator Wesley. Legislator Wiegand. A lot of folks out today. Legislator Wolf. All right, we have 10 members present, barely making quorum. Next, we will read the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge today that Oakland University resides on the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Anishinaabe, known as the Three Fires Confederacy, comprised of the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi. The land was ceded in the 1807 Treaty of Detroit and makes up southeast Michigan. In recognizing the history and respecting the sovereignty of Michigan's Indian nations, Oakland University honors the heritage of Indigenous communities and their significant role in shaping the course of this region. Further, we recognize the wrongs done to those forcibly removed from their homelands and commit to fostering an environment of inclusion that is responsive to the needs of First Peoples through our words, policies, and actions. The preservation and perpetuation of customs and traditions of Indigenous nations are essential to our shared cultural heritage. A deep understanding of Native peoples past and present informs the teaching, research, and community engagement of the university in its ongoing effort to elevate the dignity of all people and serve as shared stewards of the land. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. A summary of the proposed agenda is now on the screen. Give everyone a couple seconds to look this over. I'm sorry, I made a small mistake I need to fix here.
Says it's on.
Oh,
Just not showing.
oh,
you probably-
because I changed that after I started the slideshow. There we go. Okay, this is now correct. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Don't need a motion. Okay,
Motion to approve.
moved and seconded. Any objection? Agenda is approved without objection. Next, we will have the approval of minutes from 4 prior meetings dated October 21st, 28th, 11th, and 18th, 2025. Has everyone had a chance to look those over? Is there a motion to approve those? Moved and seconded. Any objection? Without objection, approved. Next is item 6. Do we have any announcements from the members at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7. New business, starting with the approval of Autumn Baker as a legislator, presented by Speaker Viatate.
And I hope you don't mind that I am going to sit down for this one as I did not bring my cane today because it does not work well in the snow, so please excuse me. So today we have a new legislator perspective. I'll let Autumn speak for herself, and then we can discuss. So go ahead, Autumn.
Autumn, you've got the floor.
Make sure you turn the mic on.
Yeah, I think we might have switched that one off by mistake.
It just runs out of battery if you.
I see.
Hello.
I'm Autumn Baker, and it's my second year here at OU. During
Just before we go on, can everyone on the Zoom hear okay too? Someone put something in the chat. Good. Okay, sorry, go on.
During the initial COVID shutdown, my transition was very sudden and it was terrifying to me. I did not feel prepared to go back to school in person. I did not feel prepared to be one of the only trans women that was known by so many people. People I already knew and people that I would be meeting in the future. So I spent a lot of those days struggling to get through my schoolwork or whatever I had to do. And mostly I kept going by thinking about people who would come after me and people whose lives would be made that little bit easier just by my precedent. So here at OU, I'm in a much better place. I've had a fresh start in a beautiful and supportive environment. So I feel empowered to commit further to community service and to advocacy. I'm excited for these opportunities that will have given me to represent my fellow students here. This past semester, I've been getting involved registering voters on campus and organizing with other student activists. And I didn't understand the significance of OUSC until I heard about the menstrual product initiative. And I didn't know anything about that at the time that I heard of it, even though I was really well connected in here and involved in university politics at least a little bit. And I realized that so many students don't live here and don't know anybody in university politics, and they're just relying on us. And I think it's really important that we provide for them. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here for leaders, I'm here for wage laborers, and everybody else who deserves a voice, because they make up the majority of our university.
Thank you. At this time, we'll now take questions for the perspective. Are there any questions at this time? Parliamentarian Bella.
Hello.
Mike's on.
Sorry, Doc.
You can turn it on. You can turn it on.
Yeah, whatever you need to do is fine.
Are there any initiatives you're looking to pursue as a legislator?
Well, I'm very dedicated to the menstrual product initiative and for closing the data center and for keeping it soft campus. You people already know about those ideas. But when I was gathering my signatures from fellow students, I prompted them to bring up anything that's important to them, especially if it affects their life on campus. And I got a lot of ideas. A lot of people wanted to expand EV chargers or expand dining hours or expand club sports funding. As far as my own ideas, a lot of people told me that free funding was hard to find or hard to find out about. And I think that we could help a lot of people in boost OUSC engagement if we could expand that some more. And also, I think accessibility is a huge issue on some parts of campus that does not have an effect this state.
Thank you. Anything else, Parliamentarian Bella? Legislator Wolf.
If you are approved today, are you perhaps free at 3 p.m. on Thursday to do menstrual products with me?
I will be free at 3 p.m. on Thursday.
Okay, epic. I endorse this candidate.
Thanks to Legislator Wolf. Are there any other questions at this time? Seeing none in the room, do we have any on Zoom before we go into discussion?
I do. I just can't raise my hand because I'm driving.
Okay, Legislator Markowitz, let's try and get some sound up here. Go on ahead.
Okay. My question is just, so legislators this semester are allocated 5 hours. Are you, given your current schedule, prepared to work close to that 5 hours a week, including all meeting times and everything?
Absolutely. I intend to hit 5 hours a week, every week.
Anything else, Legislator Markowitz?
Nope, thank you.
All right, now, as is custom, we're gonna have you leave the room so we can engage in discussion. But don't go far, so we can bring you back. Just as a reminder to members in the room, if you talk loudly into the microphones, you might be able to be heard from the hallway. Just keep that in mind as you discuss. Any points of discussion? Let's start with Chair LaBelle.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to keep it brief as we have a fair amount of things on the agenda. I believe Autumn would be a wonderful candidate to be a new legislator. And of course, there's a lot of openings right now in the legislature, so it'd be nice to have an extra person. And yeah, I think I'm excited to see what Autumn will do. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Speaker Fayette, followed by Chair Black.
Yeah, I just want to say, with like working closely with, Autumn.
Hello, Julianne.
Working closely with Autumn before this, I know Autumn's a very committed individual and also an individual with a lot of good ideas. So I think Autumn not only will be a good legislator that will not only complete their hours, but would bring new ideas to OUSC. That I yield.
Thank you, Chair Black.
If it needs to be said, I do just want to make a note of this, that not only is this a perspective coming into OUSC with a desire to be in OUSC, but a perspective with initiative and desire to change things and specific programs that she wants to be working on, which is wonderful. I think the recent election of Legislator Wesley and the hopefully future election of Legislator Baker points to a trend moving forward for Student Congress. And as somebody who, I should disclose this, lives with Autumn, is very good friends with Autumn, I can speak to her profound qualifications for this position and also speak to the fact that having to hear from me about Student Congress constantly since I joined, she knows what she's in for in a way that possibly no other perspective ever has. And the fact that we've had as many conversations about student government here as we have, and she's still coming in with this amount of drive and commitment, I think speaks for itself. And with that, I have nothing to do but yield.
Thank you, Chair Black. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any points of discussion on Zoom? Again, seeing none, we will now move into a vote on the approval of potential future legislator Baker. Y'all know the drill here, folks. Fayette.
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah.
Bella.
Yeah.
Kruzwicki. Markowitz.
Yay.
Mason.
Yay.
Oprah.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley.
Yay.
Wolf. All right, 10 in favor, no opposed. Legislator Baker is approved unanimously. I think you can clap better than that, folks.
Oh, we gotta wait till they come in.
That's true. I'll give you this. Congratulations, Legislator Baker. Just need to add you to the roll call sheet here. That's gonna make this.
It'd be above, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
legislative budget, I'm lying.
No, it would be after. It would be
Yeah.
after Colin.
I lied.
Senator. Legislator Baker, are you present or present voting?
I'm present.
Okay, congratulations. Next up, we'll move on to item 7B, the election of the computer support chair. Made another mistake here. We have another candidate that I neglected to add.
Point of inquiry,
Chair Lavelle.
is legislator Lunker here?
Legislator Lunger is not present.
Okay.
Legislator Wolf, do you have a point of inquiry? Been moved by Legislator Wolf. Seconded by Parliamentarian Bella. All in favor of tabling this item, please say aye. Or yay, sorry. Those opposed? Seems like we're at 2 and 2.
It's not a voice vote.
Oh, do we need to go to a roll call for this?
No,
I will say as a point of information, Emily Bunker is unable to attend any meetings.
Chair Bell.
my understanding, since it was a motion, since the motion was contested, that now opens the floor to a debate slash vote on said motion.
Okay. And Parliamentarian Bell, that proceeds for 10 minutes of debate.
Well, for
Okay. Let's get a timer here for that. So begins debate. Speaker Fiattate.
Yeah, related to legislator Lunker not being here, I do have a written statement from legislator Lunker that I'm going to read in her stead. And with that, I yield.
Legislator Obra. Okay. Legislator Wolf. Motion's been made. Do we have a second? Does not seem we have a second. Seconded by Legislator Fiattate. Voice vote to go to the roll call. Or do we just go to
roll call.
Okay, we'll now move into a roll call vote. Bear with me as I prepare the sheet for this unexpected additional vote.
Point of information, this is a roll call vote to decide if we are going to table or not.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Sorry for the delay, folks. Gesundheit. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just do this. All right, we'll now move into a roll call vote on the motion to table the discussion of the commuter support share. Advisor Miller.
It will be read.
We had a motion to move into this vote before it could be read. Chair LaBelle.
Just as a point of clarification, because sometimes people leave this, yay is to if you want to table, nay if you don't want to table.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. Any other points before we move into the vote? Let's move into the vote. Speaker Fiattate.
Nay.
Chair Black.
Nay.
Bella.
Nay.
Baker.
Nay.
Druzwicki. Markowitz.
Nay.
Mason,
Nay.
sorry, did you say nay?
Yeah, you got it right.
Thank you. Obra. Rosario,
Nay.
Wesley,
Nay.
Wolf,
Nay.
nay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't know it was gonna be a statement. Thought people were from the end of the in case you photo. I didn't know it. We've never done that.
Thank you. Well, this motion has failed. We'll now move back into discussion. We'll begin in hearing from legislator Lunger with the prepared statement read by Speaker Fiatete. You have the floor.
Just one second.
Take all the time you need.
So I will just clarify that this is an informal written statement as it more is bullet points, but I felt we get the point to read in the absence of legislator Lunker being on. All right, in the beginning, I'm a commuter that doesn't drive and lives 30 minutes away from campus. I would like to advocate and make changes for other commuter students. I would like to provide them with resources and make materials more accessible to commuters. I have been an OUSC legislator since winter 2024 semester. During winter 2024 semester under the Ferguson administration, I wrote several pieces of legislation of sustainability and ACMI legislation. Under the Garcia-Rummer administration, I sponsored and supported several pieces of legislation regarding mental health, environmental sustainability, and food security. I joined the campus food committee and attended every campus food meeting throughout the fall 2024 and winter 2025 semester. One of the most essential bills I wrote in the last administration was for the funding of a pollinator garden near the Honors College. I started out as a legislator during the Garcia-Rummer administration. As a legislator, I became parliamentarian in fall 2024. I collaborated with the legislature and e-board members last administration to plan several OUSC events, including Neurodivergence Acceptance Week, Parliamentary Procedure Workshop, live owl events, and the Earth Month Art Fair. I'm currently serving as a legislator under the Johnson Matthews administration, and I wrote several pieces of legislation regarding scholarships and financial aid. I have helped out with Beaverfest and Haunted Hallways. I believe I have done excellent work as a legislator and parliamentarian last administration, and I feel confident that I would be a great candidate for the commuter support chair position. I would like a larger role in OUSC legislator so I can become more involved, and that is the end of the statement.
Thank you, Speaker Fiatete. Now, point of parliamentary inquiry again. Are we going to have Speaker Fiatete answer questions in legislator Lunger's absence, or should we move on to the other candidate?
I don't know how good of answer we would get, but we can certainly do it.
With that, are there any questions at this time for Speaker Fiatete instead of legislator Lunger? Seeing none in the room, are there any on Zoom at this time? Chat. All right, seeing none, I believe we now move into legislator Wesley. Take the podium, you've got the floor.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you again for approving me to be a legislator, and I look forward to working with you all. In my speech, it was brought to my attention that there was a spot for the commuter chair, and even though it is my first year here at Oakland, I think that it's huge to make a big impact the minute you join something. And I think it would be a waste if I let the opportunity pass. And with the state of the weather, or with the state of the weather outside, it's hard for commuting students to even get to school and go to school. But I want to put together events both on campus and off campus, both so people don't have to feel pressure to like get to school and like involve themselves with the ideas and like the activities that they have here when commuter students like Emily are unable to drive. But there's ways that you can rent out places, set up events there, and have more like commuter students who have easier accessibility to get there that I have ideas on. They don't have to be elaborate schemes either. They can be as simple as having a table here to give hot chocolate to kids as they come in because the winter weather is destroying most of us. And I also want to try and collaborate with other clubs in Oakland to promote their attendance and like make people want to be more involved on campus because when we are such a impactful here on campus, I think it's good to use our voices and try to promote everyone and try and have people see the sorry, I'm blanking on word. It's good to have people like see the things that they have to offer here on campus. And I feel like if we collaborate with people on certain events, it motivates people to want to join more. And I believe the most important way to get people involved is by like advertising. And I feel like it would be very appreciated by the community students. And it would give people a nice way to get involved on campus, but also having more ideas would be good to like have people who aren't able to make it still be able to go to that and they can ask the other students on campus.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Legislator Wesley at this time? Speaker Fayette.
I just wanted to ask, especially since CB 6825 just passed, which extends like the amount of hours you are required to work as a legislator, with taking the chair position, the community support chair position, you'll be required to work one more hour, which means you would have to work a minimum of 3 hours a week. I have technically 2 questions. How many hours are you willing to work during the week? And what is your time schedule looking like with your semester?
So I'm able to work 3 hours a week. I'm also able to work up to 6 hours a week. On Mondays, I do have only one class to go to. So after that, I can be there for 3 hours. And then if needed on Friday, I can also come and I get 3 hours then.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions for Legislator Wesley at this time?
I do have another one when you have a moment.
No, please go ahead, Legislator Markowitz.
Thank you. I know I'm breaking all the procedures by raising my hand, so I apologize. Not raising my hand, so I apologize. But I don't think we've gotten the chance to meet. So would you mind just I know that you joined Student Congress relatively recently. Since everybody's pretty familiar with the work that Legislator Lunger has done, would you mind just kind of giving an overview of what your body of work looks like in Student Congress so far? Thank you.
In Student Congress so far, I haven't really had the opportunity to get involved and start my hours, but once I do, I really do want to try and start incorporating my ideas because when I was in high school, I was really involved. I was in multiple clubs. I think it was 4 clubs I was in high school. I always had time to balance it, and I do want to take this opportunity to run and try and show that I am capable. But as of OUSC, I have not had any opportunities to show anything yet. Thank you.
Anything else, Legislator Markowitz?
Yeah, one other clarifying question. When did you join OUSC again?
It was late November. I think it was the 28th.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
That's Chair Black.
As Judiciary Chair, I feel the need to point this out, and I'm curious about this. So per the bylaws, the Commuter Support Chair is highly encouraged and has all the infrastructure in place to set up a committee. So all things set as they should be, you would be leading multiple other students, helping you carry out your ideas, or maybe giving you some ideas. Do you know how you would approach that? And do you feel personally that you're prepared to take on not just a lead by example sort of post, but in a position of genuine person-to-person leadership?
By actively getting people involved, I'd like to go to OU, and we have tables in the OU that we can set up things. And I feel like promoting that would be a good way to like get people to see what I am able to do. I also want to go around the OUC and then add people ideas of how they think that commuter students want to like get involved, because everyone has like a different perspective of what they find interesting here on campus. And I feel like going up to them one-on-one would be a perfect way to do it, rather than sending out a form, because most students aren't answering forms that we send out to them. I feel like if we just go up to them and be straightforward, ask them, what do you want to see here? What do you need to more involved? I feel like that would be a really good way. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Wesley. Are there any other questions for Legislator Wesley at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any others on the Zoom? Again, seeing none, thank you, Legislator Wesley. Could you step out of the room, please, so we can begin discussion? So begins discussion. Will begin with Chair LaBelle.
Thank you. Again, keeping it brief. One, I support Legislator Wesley for this role, and two, do we have a secret ballot vote ready?
We do.
Okay, I just wanted to ask. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other points of discussion in the room at this time? Chair Black.
I would say between the two candidates, I do narrowly lean toward Legislator Wesley, but with that being said, I am hopeful that should he be elected, he seek out advice and guidance from folks who have been in OUSC longer, have held leadership positions, if possible, have held the commuter support chair position, simply because I understand the pressure of being thrust into a position of any campus leadership so quickly, let alone something like commuter support with a very specific set of responsibilities. And I trust that he can adapt to that should he be elected, but I just want to make sure that he is ready and willing to do that adapting and listen to people who have been around for a little while, given that he has himself humbly admitted that he does not have a lot of experience with OUSC itself. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Chair Black. Advisor Miller.
Very disappointed in the fact that Emily has been involved for how long? You read everything that she has accomplished, and every time Emily comes up for something, she never gets supported. Everybody else always gets a position instead. Yeah, we're talking about experience, and you're admitting that the other candidate is lacking experience. And I just don't understand why you never support Emily in the positions that she goes for. And I hope that you would consider, based on a very, I think, solid background of what she's contributed to OUSC, and that the fact that she is a commuter herself and one that has restrictions associated with being a commuter student, that she can be very helpful to similar students that have problems like this as well. But I wish that you would take that into serious consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Advisor Miller. Just a quick point, Legislator Baker, can you come up to the desk so I can get your email for the secret ballot vote, please? Thank you. Next up, Legislator Markowitz.
Yeah, so I was going to make a similar point as Jean Ann just did. I think it's quite concerning to me that Legislator Wesley has been in Student Congress for 2 months, and all they could say was, no, I didn't really get the chance to do anything yet. Frankly, that doesn't sound like an acceptable answer to me to go up to another level and get even more hours. I want to see somebody proving themselves in the position that they're at, because there's nothing stopping anybody from doing commuter initiatives as a legislator. It's only one more hour. And so like Jean Ann said, I think that Emily did a great job of laying out her experience and all the things that she's already supported that support commuters. And I would like to see what she does with the position. Highly encourage everybody to rethink their vote if they were not considering voting for her. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Markowitz. Are there any other points of discussion? Chair Black, you have the floor.
To build off of what Legislator Markowitz just said, in the interest of transparency, I should also clarify this because I'm just now, frankly, realizing it. Within the span of Legislator Wesley's time in OUSC, to my memory, one person-to-person interaction with him was excusing his absence from a recent legislature meeting. And I have had a multitude of interactions with Legislator Lunger, who often reaches out personally, as you all know, to inquire about one or another initiative that she's interested in pursuing. There's a gulf there, let's say, in engagement. And if Legislator Wesley doesn't feel empowered to engage further with Student Congress, I don't know. But that is definitely something for us to bear in mind. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Chair Black. Are there any other points of discussion? Legislator Rosario, followed by Legislator Wolf.
On the discussion of hours and volunteering in Student Congress, I think we all know that out of anyone in Student Congress, it's Emily Lunger that volunteers the most and that actively seeks out ways to help Student Congress throughout the weeks in our Slack messages. Now I'm not fully aware of what Wesley's schedule might look like, but to my recollection, I can't remember him messaging anyone, or at least I've seen, in the Slack seeking tasks to take on. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Rosario. Next, Legislator Wolf.
Point of information.
Chair Bell.
I just wanted to give a point of information. Legislator Wesley's paperwork only just got done recently. By recently, I mean at the beginning of this month, to my knowledge. I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Chair LaBelle, Legislator Wolf, you may continue.
Legislator Lunger has been like a long-standing, member of OUC, and I, as a member of the previously standing commuter support committee under former legislator Waters, I have a preference for Emily Lunger because she has experience in tabling. She has experience contacting people outside of the OSC. She has various ties to other orgs, and she's been in a committee. She's been in many committees. She's chaired committees, and that's why I wanted to table this bill in a hopes that maybe she would be able to show up later. But I suppose she's unable to show up on Mondays in general. And my comment on that is that she may not be here today, but committee work happens in committee. Just because she is here doesn't mean she can't be getting good work done, because I see some of the most disengaged, dispassionate like legislators who show up only for GBMs, and they are some of the most passionate and hardworking people who simply are doing all their work, out in the public, tabling, filling dispensers and whatnot. And I genuinely think we need to go with experience. Like we need to go with what we know works. We need to go with people who we've relied on. And this has been a very tumultuous year, bureaucracy wise within OOC, and we need to just get someone into this chair who at least has some idea of what they're doing. And that person is longer. They know so much, they have experience. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Legislator Wolf. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any other points of discussion on Zoom at this time? Again, seeing none, we now move into a secret ballot vote on this on this election. That correct, right? So everyone, all voting members should shortly receive a Google form with secret ballot in their email inbox on file. Just to make sure that everything is working properly, please raise your hand when you receive the email. Okay, we have 3 so far. Thank you. Folks on the Zoom, please let me know in the chat when you receive the email. Thank you. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Legislator Markowitz.
If that's in response to my hand being raised, that was just to indicate that I received the secret ballot.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see that, my bad. Is there anyone in the meeting who has not received the secret ballot? Looks like everyone's responded to it already. That was pretty fast. Point of inquiry to the parliamentarian. Sorry again. Do we bring the candidates back in before we announce the results?
Yeah.
Can someone please go get Legislator Wesley?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, surprisingly fast.
It's a lot faster than usual.
Not like it's the US Congress. Actually, I stand corrected. There's still, we have 11 members present. We've only received 10 votes. So if you haven't voted at this time, can you please vote?
Yeah, that would be cool to set out.
Okay.
Well, Michael can actually vote on himself, but.
Okay. You should have received in your email a Google form with the secret ballot for this election. You could just quickly fill that out. That would be grand.
Candidates can vote on themselves, right?
Gosh, I'm still a little bit rusty in this thing, but I'm getting in my walking legs.
She votes are always good. But
Here's housekeeping. All right, we've now received all the votes. And Emily Lunger has been elected Computer Support Chair. Thank you all for such a robust debate on this one. We'll now move on to item 7C, the approval of Clover DeVore as the Outreach Director for SAFB. It's presented by Chair LaBelle. You have the floor.
Thank you. So, I'm not going to speak, before all of my approvals because there's a lot of them and I don't want to do that. So I'll just say what I have to say, generally now. I was approved as SAFB chair at the last meeting, which is already unprecedented, taking over the role halfway through a term. And also had the unprecedented and terrible task of trying to find an entire e-board put together in the winter semester. And I gave myself a very harsh deadline of now. And I've done that miraculously, not only with great effects, but with the most wonderful, amazing candidates I could have ever found. If you guys want to just wave your hand high in the back, yeah. But first we have Clover because obviously, as most of you know, she was in student congress before, and I just wanted to torture her a little bit by making her go first. So with that, I yield to Clover.
Clover, you've got the floor.
You're happy to be at one of these meetings again?
I think you signed up for this one.
I did. All right, well, I'm not gonna sit and harp on who I am because I'm pretty sure, just little guess, we might already know who I am, given the fact that I was the speaker of the legislature last semester. Yeah, I know, mind blowing. But what I did want to do is, rather than sit and talk about myself and my record, I wanted to talk about what I wanted to do with this position. So, show of hands, how many of you have seen any SAFB marketing over the past 2 semesters? Show of hands. I see one. And that's from someone outside of the organization. That's depressing. That's terrible. Now, how many of you have actually used the SAFB Discord server or anything like that? Show of hands. 1, 2. That's sad, given that you're the organization that currently is head over SAFB. You're, if anyone's supposed to be the ones that should be the ones doing that. That's a problem. As we've known over the past couple months, SAFB has a lot of problems with people don't know what SAFB does. People are angry at SAFB because my request was denied. What the heck? People don't know what OSI is even. Again, that's a problem. So what I want to do with outreach is actually make it so we have an outreach wing of SAFB. That would be involving working directly with the hopefully eventual director of design, Jewel, over there. Just make some designs and stuff, make it so our Discord server and stuff's actually active, make it so things like Instagram are actually being utilized. Update our website, which hasn't been updated since June of last year. Also pretty sad. Essentially just making it so that we can actually have a presence with the student body and make it so SAB is actually a well-known organization. That is going to help us tenfold with requests being bad because people, okay, oh, this is the stuff, this is the resources where I can find, this is how I do a request. Oh my goodness. People will stop getting mad about, hey, why was my request bad? They can go online and go oh yeah, that's how I'm supposed to do it. People also just be able to put a face in the not just be a bunch of creepy finance people digging in a basement. So yeah, that's essentially what I want to do as director of outreach. Essentially just make it so we have outreach as part of SAB. Hopefully that gets rid of some of our major problems with both just our accessibility to the student body and our recognition within the student body. And yeah, I think I have a lot of qualifications to do that. You've seen hopefully during my time in student congress and other roles on campus. Yeah, with that, I'll just take questions if you guys have any.
Thank you, Clover. Are there any questions for Clover at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any questions on Zoom at this time? Again, seeing none, thank you, Clover. Please step out of the room so we can begin discussion. there any points of discussion at this time? Chair LaBelle.
I'm gonna do this with all of the candidates, so get ready. So this is the point where I'm gonna gas up Clover because I've known Clover for a very long time now, since September of 2024, and she is one of the hardest workers I know. Like, I'm so excited to have her join my team. She's going to relieve so much burden off my plate and help me in ways that I don't even know how to say. She's possibly one of the best people for this role, and I don't think that there could even be anyone better. And also, she has received 2 letters of recommendation from the past 2 chairs of SAFB. I just want to point that out. I can read them off, but that's really long and boring. I don't think anyone really wants to listen to that. So, with that, I yield.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. Any other points of discussion at this time? Seeing none in the room, Chair Black, we're discussing Clover's approval as Director of Outreach. Do you have any points of discussion? Just repeating to that into the record. Quote Chair Black, I trust her. Are there any points of discussion on Signum? Again, seeing none, we'll now move into a roll call vote on the approval of Clover DeVore for Director of Outreach of the SAFB. Begetate.
Yay.
Black.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Baker.
Yay.
Drewswicki. Markowitz. Markowitz says yay. Mason.
Yay.
Obra.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley. Wolf. Someone please go get Clover. Congratulations, Clover. You've now been approved unanimously as the outreach director for SAFB. Should we repeat that for the record? Next up, again presented by Chair LaBelle, is the approval of Maggie Bassett as Assistant Chair of SAFB. Go ahead, Rose.
I already gave my general spiel, so I'll just welcome Maggie up here. Don't you worry, Maggie, I'll gas you up after you're done. With that, I yield.
Sorry about the slide.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me time to face for this position as Assistant Chair for SAFB. I'm not a great public speaker, but it's comforting to see some familiar faces out in the crowd. A little bit about me. I am a sophomore accounting major here at OU, seeking to interview for the role of Assistant Chair of the Student Activity Funding Board. I'm passionate about helping to build and maintain a happy and healthy student body for Oakland University. I believe SAFB is the cornerstone to this goal, as it helps build communities and clubs and financially supports them as they achieve their goals. Through working with multiple SAFB and SAFAC organizations, I have gained significant experience with the Office for Student Involvement's policies and procedures, and I'm confident in my record-keeping skills. I am proficient in Google Sheets and Excel and have redone the financial record-keeping systems of 2 different organizations. I've experienced managing contracts and agreements that comply with university policy. Through all of my organizations, I've learned to work and collaborate with a variety of people and communicate ideas and goals to work towards a common goal. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would welcome questions.
Thank you, Maggie. Are there any questions for Maggie at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any questions on the Zoom? Again, seeing none, Maggie, thank you for your speech. Go into discussion now. Legislator Truzicki, we're now on discussion for Maggie Bassett, for approval as SAFB chair. Speaker Fayette Tay, followed by Chair Lavelle.
I beat you to it. Anyway, honestly, as someone who knows Maggie's experience prior to this, and thankfully Maggie listed it out for everyone. Maggie is probably the best person for this position. She is well versed in like how SAFB works, and I doubt it will take much training for her to get used to her new job. So with that, I heavily approve Maggie.
Thank you. Now Chair Lavelle.
Thank you, thank you. It goes without saying that Maggie is going to be a wonderful assistant chair. She has a better resume for my job than I did. She is, of course, an accounting major, vice president of finance of her sorority, was a treasurer of a club, worked as treasurer of SPB. Like, it does not get better than this. I've known Maggie since November of 2024, and she has only been one of the most delightful people I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with. With that, again.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? Legislator Wolf.
I think it's record. With that, I'm thinking roll call vote.
Motion's been made to move into a vote. Do we have a second? Seconded by Legislator Obra.
Point of it.
Chair Lavelle.
Just for the record, because this keeps happening, if there's no discussion, you don't have to motion to a vote. That ends up taking up more time than just waiting for the vote to happen. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Chair Lavelle. Without objection, we'll now move into a vote. There we go. Tay.
Yay.
Black.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Baker.
Yay.
Truzicki. Markowitz. Markowitz says yay in the chat. Ms. Owen.
Yay.
Obra.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley.
Yay.
Wolf.
Yay.
Someone go get Maggie, please. Thank you, Jack. Congratulations. You've been approved unanimously. And with plenty of time to spare for item 7E. Chair Lavelle.
As said, I already gave my general spiel, so I'll just let Zena come up and talk for herself. With that, I yield.
You've got the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I can. Okay.
Can folks on the Zoom here? Okay, I think the microphone might be turned off. Yeah, the little slider should go up.
Got it. Okay, that's better.
Can the Zoom hear now? All right, Zach says yes, you can go on ahead. Sorry.
Perfect. My name is Dana Medea, and I'm a junior international relations major at OU. And I'm here today seeking approval for the position of Director of Audits at SAFB. As a former org president myself, I'm a huge advocate for what SAFB does. And I admire the fact that OU students are able to express themselves through student organizations, and with the help of SAFB funding, have access to unique experiences and opportunities.
I had experience working as a learning and development assistant for Michigan State University IT department before I transferred to OU. In this position, I was able to build my technical skills by teaching the faculty how to use various Microsoft platforms such as Excel and OneDrive. I've also held the position of promotions assistant at iHeartMedia, which allowed me to develop my communication skills by interacting with both radio talent and listeners frequently. With that, I believe I'm the ideal candidate for the Director of Audits at SAFB. Thank you so much. And if there's any questions, I'd be open to those now.
Are there any questions at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any on Zoom at this time? All right, thank you, Zena. Can you step out of the room, please? At this time, we'll move into discussion. Chair Bell.
Thank you, thank you. So, I've known Zena since, beginning of last semester. I met her through Model UN, and we went to a conference in Chicago together. The reason why I chose Zena for this role is because she has an insane eye for detail, and that's what I really need in this position. For those that don't know, this position was the Director of Operations, last semester. I renamed it because the Director of Audits more aptly, describes what the position does. And I think that one of the things that I valued in Jonathan, the previous person who held this position last semester, is that he had an insane eye for detail, and anything that was wrong with the request, anything about any inventories, I knew that he would catch it, and that is the one quality I really wanted in somebody who took this position, and Zena is just about one of the only people I think I can really depend on for that.
Thank you, Chair Bell. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any on Zoom? Again, seeing none, without objection, we'll move into a roll call vote on the approval of Zena. Wicked fast discussion. The entity.
Yay.
Black.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Baker.
Yay.
Druzwicki. Markowitz. Markowitz says yay in the chat. Ms. Owen.
Yay.
Obra.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley. Wolf. So they go get Zena.
Those boots.
I think the applause says it all. You've been approved unanimously. Next up, one last SAFB approval. Item 7F, Rose Fairlabelle.
Once again, I'm just going to invite Jewel to come up here and talk about herself, and I'll talk about her now, but she's not in the room with that angle.
All right, Julie, you've got the floor.
Oh, is it on? Can you hear me?
Zach in here.
You can take it off that, yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, guys. My name is Jewel Rabo. I'm currently a freshman here at Oakland. I'm studying accounting with a minor in marketing. As soon as I heard about this position opening up from Marion Sprummer, who you guys may know, I was very excited to apply for it because it's something I'm passionate about. Working on campus and working with peers who I go to class with, and getting involved on campus as well as going into marketing. As a freshman, I haven't had much experience, but in high school, I definitely assisted with marketing to help fundraising events at our school, which I felt very confident in. I have been working sales for the past 3 years and currently still do that. So with that, it's really taught me a great amount of communication within my teammates, and teamwork, as well as just being present and communication within work. If you guys have any questions, I'm open to that now.
Are there any questions for Jewel at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any questions on Zoom at this time? All right, thank you, Jewel. Please step out of the room. We'll try and make this quick. Any points of discussion this time? Anyone? Bueller? How about Chair Lavelle?
Yeah. All right. I'll say this. This is unrelated really quickly. Just so it doesn't blindside anyone, me and my board are going to leave after this last approval and go down to the office so we can talk because we desperately need to work. But in terms of actually talking about Jewel, Jewel was probably the candidate I know the least. However, I have met her previously, and this was the position I didn't really set a deadline for in terms of like trying to get somebody in it because I was so worried about finding somebody who's knowledgeable about graphic design and about marketing itself to actually step into the role. But Jewel thankfully applied. She is very skilled, very knowledgeable. And I worked with her in the past. She designed a fair amount of the things for my OUSC presidential campaign last year, and I thought that stuff looked great. So I think she has the skills required to fill this role and especially work with Clover very well. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Chair Lavelle. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? I'll just put out there, Chair Lavelle, putting together a whole e-board in 2 weeks is pretty impressive. Seeing no other points of discussion without objection, we'll move into a roll call vote on this approval. Seeing none, let's get it started. Beatate.
Yay.
Black.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Baker.
Yay.
Druzwicki. Markowitz.
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Ohm.
Yay.
Thank you. Obra.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley.
Yay.
Wolf.
Yay.
You know the drill. Thanks, Jack. Should pay him for being the runner. The Jewel's been approved unanimously. At this point, why doesn't the board just take a bow on the way out of the room? Thank you, Chair Lavelle.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, let's get back to some legislation here. Item 7G, first reading of CB 6826, presented by Parliamentarian Bella. You have the floor.
Oh, is this thing on?
I don't know.
All right, I think it is.
Zach can hear this.
So this is the bill the parliamentarian has been at work. So this reforms Appendix 1, where there was a whole section titled non-members, and it had the rights of every single type of person that interacts with OUSC. And a lot of the formatting was really inconsistent. There were like things that were repeating each other. So if you'll just like skim over through the points, it's kind of like a slash and burn thing. I'm renaming these. I strike every article and I just create new ones that are just like better clarifications of what each role is supposed to be. And just a little information.
I'm going to scroll through this slowly so everyone can read.
Mm-hmm. So there's also an appendix at the bottom that has like the end result of like what it's going to look like when it's done. So building off of our bylaws and from Robert's rules, I define what members have the rights to attend meetings, speak, debate, vote, and motion. So that's delineated for every single category. There's members, there's observers, which would be the executive board and the FAFB executive board. So those are people who've traditionally been able to speak and debate, but not vote or not make motions, things of that nature. There's all the responsibilities are delineated for advisors, guest speakers,
and anybody else who might be in attendance of the meetings. There's liaisons right there. So, I'll just allow the chair to just scroll through this so people can take a look. But if anybody has any questions, you can throw them at me.
Thank you. It's kind of hard to judge what the right speed is, so if anyone needs me to speed up or slow down, you can just say so. Second thought, this might take a while. Director Van Patten.
So I just have a clarifying question. You might have answered it, but I was taking the minutes. So does this bill does it add content, or is this like the way it sounded was it was just making edits to the format, but it adds content to the bylaws. Is that correct?
I believe in some places it might add content. A lot of them it's reducing the content. This is mostly just a bill for clarification, so it's just reformatting everything in that section of Appendix 1.
Parliamentarian Bella. Does this address the rights of observers in particular to make or to introduce legislation?
I would believe so. The SAFB Executive Board, Student Congress Executive Board, and the President and Vice President. I believe they've been able to push that legislation to pass, or at least approvals, as far as I know.
Okay, thank you. And here's the appendix. I'm going to try and get through this quickly. Just want to make sure that everyone can see all the content before we vote. Legislator Wolf.
Sorry, I didn't know you didn't see me.
No, I'm sorry.
To me, that may be of concern. If you scroll back up, it'll be highlighted, I believe. Yes, members, the subsection 1, which reads members or legislators of student congress who've been approved by the legislator, which I feel like this might cause, because a member is like, any one of the executives, directors, and, includes legislators who have been approved by the legislature. But in addition, there are legislators who've been elected by the student body. I think this language, doesn't fully define what a member is.
Well, one thing, I believe anybody who gets elected or approved by the legislature, I believe everybody has to get approved by the legislature to be allowed in. If there's changes to the wording I need to make, then we can do that. And I just imagine members as a generalizing term, and ones for observers, like for the SAFB and the executive board, those are particularizing. So I can put that explicitly in there if you like.
I think Legislator Black might be able to better speak up on this.
I should hope so. I'm a co-sponsor of the bill.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just bad at talking about stuff like this.
That's okay. My co-sponsor status is mainly editorial. Parliamentarian Bella and I went over this, and basically we had this in one tab and the appendix 1 as it currently exists in another tab, and we just went point by point, and I made some suggestions on how the wording could be improved. The only issue I can see with the section I have highlighted right here that I might not have caught is that it is possible during election season to run as a legislator and be voted in by the student body. Whether we then in turn have to approve those people, or if they are just through after getting certain amount of votes in the general election, I will plead ignorance. I'm not sure. If anyone can clarify that for me, that's fine. But if we don't, we could just say approved by the legislature or elected by the student body.
Yeah, I'll make that change once we're out of here. I'll make it when I sit down even.
Speaker Fayette.
Just a point of information, just because I think I heard about something about voting. I believe this is the first reading of this bill, so it will not be voted on today.
Thank you. Didn't occur to me either. Are there any other points of discussion in the room at this time? Seeing none, are there any on Zoom at this time?
Yeah.
Director Van Patten.
I guess more of a point of I'm probably gonna look this over, but if you wouldn't mind when you get it fleshed out, big favor to me, I would love it a lot if you could make these edits in a copy of Appendix 1, make those edits for me, and then send that copy to me. I would really appreciate that. You don't necessarily have to, but it'd be really nice.
Oh yeah, that's what I put the appendix at the end for, the completed version, so I can just copy appendix 1 as it exists and stick that in there, and then I can send it over to you.
Dope, thank you.
Okay, folks, are there any other points of discussion at this time? Seeing none, I think that's the end of this item. We'll now move on to item H, or item 7H, and since I will be up for approval under this item, I will have to remove myself from the chair, in which case it would pass to Speaker Fayette. Speaker Fayette.
I renounce my chairmanship, so it gets moved to the parliamentarian.
Parliamentarian Ella. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So here we are approving LJ Lasecki as vice president. As far as I know, this is the only candidate that the committee has agreed upon out of a pool of 4 candidates. So I'm just going to let LJ speak for themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Student Congress. I'm here as a candidate for the position of Vice President of Student Congress. I've been serving in this position in an interim capacity since the beginning of the winter 2026 semester, and as a result, I'm uniquely qualified to serve as Vice President for the remaining months of this term. Prior to my interim appointment to this position, I served in Student Congress as the Director of the Executive Platform in the fall semester. In this role, I developed positive, productive working relationships with the President and the other executive officers currently serving in Congress, and the leadership and rank and file members of the legislature. I've collaborated with Student Congress's active members on a number of initiatives and have worked with both branches collectively to bridge divisions, facilitate productive debate, and foster effective compromises in pursuit of Student Congress's mission of service to the student body. Since beginning in this role in early January, I've given my best effort toward filling the big shoes which former Vice President Matthews left behind. Amidst the fractured state of Student Congress, challenged by high levels of staff turnover and a number of key leadership roles, I seamlessly transitioned into this new role and provided Student Congress with vital continuity of executive leadership. If I'm selected to continue in this role on a permanent basis, I will be uniquely positioned to maintain that continuity for the remainder of the term and allow for Student Congress to focus its resources on addressing other pressing issues. As the relationships I've built in this position would be difficult for someone else to replicate in such a short span of time. I've earned the support of former Vice President Matthews in my candidacy to succeed her on a permanent basis, and have gained the trust of other members of Student Congress, which I think will be very helpful to my service in this position. I believe that if I'm selected here tonight, I'd be able to continue to effectively apply my experience in public administration to improve the internal and public-facing functions of Student Congress to an even greater mutual benefit of Congress's members and the student body they serve. this time I'll take any questions.
Any questions for the candidate? Um, sorry, I forgot your new title again. Speaker Fayettate, you have the floor.
That was really funny. Um, yeah, I just have one question, and it's one thing I noticed today. I know in the bylaws it requires both the president and vice president to go over like what they did in the week, give a report. I noticed in the drive, at least in the what's right now the Johnson Matthews drive, we don't have like any files for like the written descriptions of like what the executive board does. Is there any chance that we can work to implement that so we know the reports each week?
Absolutely, I think we should. I'd be happy to work with you on that going forward.
Any other questions for the candidate? If there are no, sorry.
Make sure you double check the Zoom, make sure they're.
Oh yeah. Anybody on Zoom have any questions for the candidate?
Check them.
Let's see. It doesn't appear that there are any on Zoom. So with that, we'll ask the candidate to step out of the room so we can have discussion.
Thank you, Mr.
We are now in a period of discussion on the approval of LJ Lasecki as vice president. Are there any legislators wishing to speak? President Johnson?
Hello. I just wanted to come on and say, as you all know, with the resigning of former VP Matthews, I realized that our bylaws are very bare on the process of replacing the vice president. It seemed, from what I've gathered, and I talked with Speaker Fayette today about this, it seems like it's just treated as any other executive vacancy. But I felt it needed a bit more scrutiny than that, which is why I was able to put together a selection committee, which met right before this meeting, actually, which was kind of funny. And of the people who applied, they were all unanimously concurred that LJ was the best fit for that position, as was I. But as a rule, given that LJ and I have been friends for a long time, I always want to make sure other people have input on that decision outside of myself. And I'd like to thank all of those who participated for helping me in that decision. And I hope we can have a swift vote today, because if I am not mistaken, there is a severe weather advisory right about now. So I'd like to make sure we get y'all out of there as soon as possible. With that, I will yield the floor.
Thank you, President Johnson. Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Speaker Fayette. Javier, you're next.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment. I agree with everything President Johnson said. I do think interim vice president right now, Lazecki is probably the best candidate we have so far, and not only that, is just in general very qualified for this position. Additionally, I have had a lot of conversations with them in private. As speaker, I am liaison between the executive and the legislative. So I think not only are they qualified, but they are also someone I can work with and kind of work towards building stuff that we as the legislature and the executive can do together. And with that, I yield.
Okay, Legislator Rosario, you have the floor.
I just wanted to say that I can't think of anyone more well, I would say more qualified than LJ to become vice president. You know, he's been to many of our legislature meetings last semester, and he's good at taking feedback. He's good at communicating, especially when there were times where it was a bit of an issue communicating across Congress and our various branches. Um, I think this is this is our best option here.
One point of
Uh,
information as it pertains to our bylaws discrimination policy, LJ uses they them pronouns. With that, I yield.
Apologies. I was
Continue.
unaware. I think they are the best candidate. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Rosario. Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Oh, damn it. Sorry. If there will be no more discussion, we will now move on to a roll call vote. If I can find where this is. Apologies for my language. Okay, we are now entering a roll call vote for the approval of LJ Lasecki for Vice President. Speaker Fayetete?
Yay.
Judiciary Chair Black?
Yeah.
I cannot vote. I'm the chair. Legislator Baker?
Yeah.
Legislator Drzwicki? Legislator Markowitz?
Yay.
Legislator Mason? Was that a yay?
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Legislator Obra?
Yay.
Legislator Rosario?
Yay.
Legislator Wesley? Legislator Wolf? All right. LJ Lasecki has been approved as Vice President. Can somebody bring them into the room? Congratulations, Vice President Lasecki.
Thank you.
Mm,
Mr. Chair.
Next on the agenda, we have old business. We have no old business for this meeting. Next, we're in a period of discussion. Is there anybody wishing to make a motion to discuss anything or? Now we move on to legislative updates. The first legislative update is from Speaker Fayetete.
Great. As President Johnson said, I guess there is a emergency warning for the weather, so I'm going to keep this short, especially since not a lot was able to be done because we literally did not have school and the campus was not open. I did work on communicating with some perspectives, so hopefully we'll have even more perspectives to vote on in the future. Additionally, we had our first legislative meeting. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, it didn't go to my standards. Obviously, there is a lot of people that weren't showing up or were busy, which I can understand, but I encourage you all to be there, or if you cannot be there, please submit a absence request to our judiciary chair, just so it clears you from being ineligible for student congress, and it also like eases my mind so I know that you're busy. Yeah. And with that, there is going to be another legislative meeting on Wednesday, same time, I believe same room, but I will post something in the chat tomorrow about the room location if it changes. If not, I'll just say it's the same room. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Speaker Fayetete. Are there any legislative leadership updates? Chair Black.
Thank you. I just want to build off of what Speaker Fayetete just said and clarify that I have indeed been taking attendance for every meeting over which I have presided as Judiciary Chair. Please fill out the excused absence form if you're not going there, or see me personally. My update is that there has been a number of absences without that clarification, and I am taking names, so to speak. Bear in mind the number of those that you get for free, because I am. With that being said, I am still searching, however futile a search it may feel at times, for members for my committee. I will say again, please fill out the interest form or come see me in person. If you are interested, Legislator Obra is also imploring you to do so. Take it from him, if not from me. And once we get some solid support behind the committee itself, I intend to work with Speaker Fayette and former Judiciary Chair Fayette in order to draft a bill that will substantially limit the authority of the Judiciary Chair. Given that there is, so far as I understand the bylaws, nothing stopping me from bringing any hearing I so choose before my one voting member, that feels like a situation that should not be allowed to happen. And I want to write something to that effect to make sure that in the future it cannot happen. And outside of that, I've been keeping track of every form I need to keep track of and easing into my position well. And I thank all of you who've given me support in this new leadership position and done what you need to do as far as attendance goes. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Judiciary Chair Black. Speaker Fayette, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna speak as ghost of Judiciary Chairs past. Also a reminder that as legislators, if you do not excuse your absences, you only get 3 unexcused absences. That counts for legislative meetings and general meetings. So please, if you want to stay in OUSC, make sure that if you can't make it to the meetings, fill out an excused absence form or text the judiciary chair, email them, make sure they know that you're going to be absent. Additionally, please make sure we are getting our hours. I don't know if the judiciary chair has been keeping track of hours yet. I know I was constantly checking hours when Sam was our financial director. So please make sure we're clocking in the hours. Please make sure you are coming to the office as well if you can. I know I do not see a lot of legislators in the office, and it is kind of a problem. We do have stuff we can be doing, especially when it comes to the menstrual product initiative, or we could be working on the data center stuff, which we voted on in September. So with that, I yield.
Thank you, Speaker Fayette. Are there any other legislative leadership updates? Seeing none, we will move on to legislative project and initiative updates. Are there any legislative project and initiative updates? So I'm not sure if this is breaking the rules or not, but I'm going to speak in the capacity of parliamentarian about this. Oh, Legislator Markowitz?
I just wanted to let everybody know. So I just met with Christina from the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, and we will be having our annual student panel that will be coming up on March 17th. Yes, March 17th from 11:30 to 1:30. And so I'm starting the process of recruiting for people who are going to be working as panelists. So if that's something that you're interested, the way that we're going to structure it this year, OUSC is going to pay for food. It's going to be a longer event than in the past. And on top of that, we're going to do it more like a roundtable event as opposed to a panel. So instead of having like 4 or 5 panelists, we're planning on having like 15 students there. So it can be a more robust conversation, and faculty can move from table to table, talking with different students about different topics. So if you're interested, please reach out. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Markowitz. Again, reach out if you're interested. But on the topic of my initiative, so I'm collecting information on unsalted sidewalks and other dangerous conditions that could be possibly attributed to the campus and just not maintaining things the way they should. So I've been collecting testimonies from students, faculty, alumni, and I have contacts for people in the administration that are responsible for groundskeeping. So potentially in the future, we could try and get one of them to come in as a guest speaker, or we could have a conversation with them to try and get some clarification about what's going on with the university. Because the sidewalks aren't getting salted, things are very dangerous, especially for people on the weekends living in dorms. So that's something that's going on. If you're interested in helping me work on this, then please shoot me a message. Are there any other legislative project and initiative updates? Seeing none, we will now move on to questions. Are there any questions? We will now move on to liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to executive reports, starting with President Johnson.
Hello, all. Quick update from me. We had a SAFAC meeting I think it was Friday, in which we were able to discuss actually a couple of things. One, a presentation to give to the president and the provost on what the SAFAC orgs are and what we do, which I think is a very necessary activity for all of us to participate in, as well as, and I'll let Advisor Miller talk more about this during her section, because this was her idea, but a sort of open house for Student Congress to participate in with other SAFAC organizations to invite students to, come in our offices, interact with us, see where we work, what we do, this, that, and the third. And we all thought it was a pretty good idea, so I'll let her talk more on that and what they're thinking that could look like. But it was pretty exciting for me to hear about, so I wanted to make sure I brought it up to you all. Let's see. The only other things I would offer as a reminder, just remember that you are clocking in and clocking out using the actual swipe machine when you do so, because like I said, OSI has been very strict about if you do not swipe in, you do not get paid. So please make sure you do that. As Speaker Trey mentioned, I haven't been able to do too much the past week because campus has been closed or mostly closed in some capacity, but I will leave you all with those reminders. With that, I yield.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Johnson. With that, we'll move on to the Vice President's report by Vice President Jose Lasecki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since it's cold as hell out there, I want to keep this quick so we can all go home. I'm in this position permanently now. Thank you all again for your support. I look forward to another few months of productive work with you all. My last week has been kind of quiet between all the canceled days of school and a bit of an infection scare. I didn't end up being sick, but at the time I thought it best to err on the side of staying home and not exposing other folks to the flu. I did participate in the SAFAC meeting that Marcus mentioned. We had some pretty productive conversations, and I'm looking forward to working with Advisor Miller and the rest of SAFAC to get that open house for the provost set up. Because I'll be honest, I was a little surprised at all the talk I've had with university executives, how little they know about SAFAC organizations and what we do. So anytime that we can better inform them is good. It's really the only meeting I took part in because most of the others were canceled because of various school closings. The other big thing that I did that I was really proud of is if you look at the front of the Student Congress office, I added some flags to the window. The green flag. Air moving a green flag. It's brilliant. That's been a little pet project of mine ever since I got here. Getting some nice pride flags and other flags to decorate the office with. So I hope you folks enjoy them. That's really all the report I've got. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you, Vice President Lasecki. We will now move on to executive board reports. Are there any reports from the rest of the executive board?
All right, I'll just really quick. This week I'm meeting with my 7 applicants for the Sustainability Shark Tank. So excited. With President Johnson, we'll be sitting in on that. And just to say, Thursday, February 12th from 2 to 6 will be the Sustainability Shark Tank in the Founders Ballroom C. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to questions. Are there any questions for any of the executive reports? We will now move on to the OUSC Advisors Report by Advisor Miller.
In terms of what the president was talking about, we have OU Day, Week of Kindness, February 9th through the 13th. And one of the ideas came up is to do a SAPAC open house. We want to do that so to bring the students to your offices as opposed to always being tabling upstairs and get them to be more engaged on the lower level as opposed to always on this level. And so it would be from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. And it'd just be the opportunity for all of you to be able to promote OUSC, our office, and all the other SAPAC organizations. And hopefully, as a recruitment to get people to, students to sign up and really see what you do, what we do, and that it's worthwhile getting engaged. So that's the purpose behind that. The other thing is I do have to say, at least coming in today, that the sidewalks as well as the parking lots were very well plowed because they had the opportunity to do that. And also be aware that salt doesn't work on these temperatures. So that's one of the not benefits of these cold temperatures. And the severe weather for tonight has to do with cold temperatures. It doesn't look like more snow, but below freezing temperatures with the wind chill. So that's, I think, what the president was referring to. Other than that, I don't know about you, but these days off or late starts and stuff like that are getting to drain on everybody. And just to let you know, we do have a mental health day, a mental health fair on Wednesday, just in case you need that. I think I do, in terms of just having people here that you can talk to make sure you are providing yourself self-care through this horrendous weather that we've been experiencing, not here, but throughout the United States. So thank you.
Thank you, Advisor Miller. Are there any comments from the gallery? Feel free to come on up to the microphone.
Hi, I'm Alex Holston. I've actually never done this before. Is there anything like specific I need to do?
Nope, but feel free to adjust the microphone up if you need to.
But look, that's better. Cool. That is actually a perfect point from Advisor Miller, bringing up the days off, and also you were bringing up some things about the snow. I actually just had a few student concerns as a student here, also a student employee too. So a lot of the days off specifically, my job has been up in the air. And I can say this with a few different student employees. I know specifically over at Gretzky, and I know some other people over in international education. I don't know what student Congress can do, especially because it's a finance thing, but I don't know if anybody else can understand that that is my income. So if I am gonna, like, even if I'm missing class, I'm still missing work. And I don't have the money to pay the university tuition. So I guess what I'm really asking here is there any conversation that is being had in student Congress, or that can be had in regards to some form of extension of benefits to student employees or something that we can have with the administration? I'm thinking like in November and December, that was really hard, especially for like me. I'm dealing with car payments, so it's either having to get to school and I have to pay for gas and also to pay to keep my car, and or like just food in general. That money comes from the university, and if we have days off and I get no compensation, I have no money to eat. So, addition to that too, one of the other points about the salt too, I'm also in the apartments, And that is just a general issue that we've been having where we'll walk out of the apartments onto the patio and it is like either barely salted. But then again, of course, cold weather, didn't know that. So just some consideration.
Of course, I'm sure myself or somebody else here would be willing to take your comments after this. My focus is on the groundskeeping, but we can also talk to the people who are focused on like scheduling and canceling classes and things of that nature. So we can talk to them. We can talk about your concerns with not being paid when they're forcing these days off. But thank you for coming. Myself or somebody else will talk to you after this. Advisor Miller, do you have something to say?
There is one fund that students can access, just quickly to let you know, student emergency fund. And for situations for car payments and other kinds of payments, if you are impacted by what's happening, that is something that you can apply for, that all students can apply for. Just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that opportunity immediately. Thanks.
We also have the pantry on campus. So if food is an issue at all, you can go there and you can get some of your necessities. Vice President LJ?
Just want to quickly add, the president and I plan to be in congress with the residents-led, or in contact with the residents-led association to discuss this issue too. I'm sure it'll be a recurring subject in student congress. We appreciate you bringing these concerns to our attention though, and please, after the meeting, come up to the table and leave us your email so we can reach back out.
Also, I have one more thing.
Go for it.
So as a student employee, thank you for the resources too. I have taken advantage of the pantry, thank God it exists. And I actually did get the emergency fund over the summer, so I am no longer eligible for it. But it's still like, just to throw that out there too, we could be aware of these resources and have taken advantage of them, or there's some other restriction. And it's just we're missing it. That's the big thing, and that is also a complaint that I could extend to my part-time employees, coworkers who are not students, but this is not the exact form for that. So,
Of course, I'll meet with you after this.
The other thing I'll add is I understand that there's some pretty mounting frustration with the faculty, with the surprise closures too. So we're probably going to be hearing a lot more debate and general outrage about that, to be frank.
Yeah, I got a fiery talking from one of my professors about that this morning. So anyway, moving on to announcements. Are there any announcements to be made at this time? Right, with no announcements to be made, we'll move on to adjournment. So I will now adjourn this meeting at, what time is it? 7:25 p.m. This meeting is adjourned. Yeah. Of course.
Like there could be some policy where if a student was scheduled to work on a day in which there's a university closure or like just their expected earnings for that week, maybe there could be a stipend that would reimburse like some,
I like the idea. I doubt you'd get Mackie to go for it, but that's a good starting point for these sorts of discussions.
Well, it's technically not any extra money being spent because they otherwise wouldn't spend it. Yeah, but we could argue. Yeah.
I mean, want to put out a resolution, we could discuss about it. Autumn, congratulations.
I was just wondering when I would get one of the new.
We'd probably be best off asking Zach.
Okay.
Because I think he orders those, but I figure 2 weeks or so you could
Am
probably.
I allowed to speak to that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Just raise your hand and look up raising the thing.
Okay, thank you.
It is out.